Tim. Welcome to Watching One. Thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at an historic modern reference from Panerai. This is the Panerai Radiomir Black Seal Ceramica PAM00292, 45 millimeters in black ceramic. This is an important watch, and the name pretty much says it all. It is a Ceramica. In fact, it was the Ceramica, the very first watch released in 2007 with a full ceramic case from Panerai. This watch represents the material of the future, and with the classic Radiomir case and the black seal nomenclature, it also makes an important reference by paying deference to Panerai's past. So let's break down those two elements. Let's try the watch on the wrist, get a sense of its fit, and talk a little bit about the tech, the spec, the background, and why it's cool. First and foremost, every Panerai, although a large watch, is going to wear a heck of a lot smaller than its nominal case size. You can see on my wrist, which is 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters for those using the metric system, the watch feels natural and it wears light. Now, the cushion case is a big part of that. Radiomir watches generally wear a little bit smaller than equivalent-sized Luminors, and a big part of that is just how the case tapers at its edge. They all have a bit more tumble home, so they don't have that tuna can look from the side, nor the feel on the wrist. The other nice thing about it is a ceramic watch. Now, ceramic isn't quite as light as something like aluminum or titanium, but it's substantially lighter than any precious metal or even steel. So the watch feels very light on the wrist, spreading its mass well with the cushion shape that's compounded by the relatively light weight of the ceramic itself. It's also a remarkably seamless look, flowing pretty much continuously from the black dial with its black oxidized hands at center, to the bezel, to the case, to the calfskin strap. Everything about this watch is coherent, and I really like that. And a big part of that, in my mind, is the use of those black oxidized hands on the dial. You just see those narrow strips of lume, and really there's no trick of the light going on. That's what it looks like in person. You see those narrow strips indicating the time, and the hands and the mounting of the hands at center really just kind of blend in and disappear. Gorgeous execution from Panerai. This is the classic sandwich dial with a black stencil over a fully loomed base. What you're actually seeing is two different dials. You're seeing that loomed disc through the cutouts of the numerals and indexes on the top stencil applique. So the sandwich dial, which has both depth and brilliance when you look at it at night, is a gorgeous nod to Panerai history, yes, but still very functional, very legible. It does what it was originally designed to do in the 30s, 40s, and 50s during nighttime combat conditions, and that's let you see the watch clearly and read the watch easily. Now, not only does it feel a treat on the wrist, but it's going to continue to look fantastic. It looks as good as it feels, but Panerai, being a pioneer of the black watch look back during the late 1990s, arguably perfected that look with the Ceramica, because with ceramic you're getting not just the au courant material, but something with a real benefit to owners. If you've seen black watches that are PVD, basically a coating on steel gets scratched, you see that nasty gnash that goes right down to the metal base. Not only is it irreparable, but the incredible contrast between the basic shiny metal underneath and the PVD coating just creates an unsightly marring mark. It's something you don't get on basic steel or even gold watches, because none of those have that incredible all or nothing look where they're incredibly cool until they're scratched and then they're horrible. You don't get that with ceramic because ceramic is homogeneous. If you did have a small chip or a scratch in here, again, very hard to do without diamond tools, but you would see more black material underneath. It's black straight through. Even better, it's almost as hard as sapphire crystal. So it's very rare to scratch a sapphire crystal. You really have to do something pretty traumatic to the watch. If you wear your watches realistically and carefully, considering what they cost, your investment in them, as well as your emotional investment in them, you're probably never going to mar this material. And again, only diamond can reliably scratch it, so short of encountering a diamond tool, you would have to do something unbelievably blunt and traumatic to the watch to deface ceramic. So it's a beautiful material that also preserves the beauty of the watch and the security of your investment in it. Now, the watch does feature a Panerai OP11 caliber, 56-hour power reserve. This is another nice nod to history in that it's a pocket watch movement that's been re-engineered and finally finished for use in a wristwatch. Now, Panerai did that principally because in the old days they needed a large movement, a reliable movement, a large balance wheel, because that used to be the way to keep time accurately in the field, and then the size of that movement dictated the size of the watch. In fact, early on they were just essentially rotated and soldered lug Rolex pocket watches with waterproof characteristics. In time, Panerai adapted that look and adapted the pocket watch movement for a modern line of consumer wristwatches. But the tradition of the big pocket watch style case with a movement of pocket watch origin endures. Not only is it true to history in that it is a pocket watch and a wristwatch, but it's also a COSC rated chronometer with a gorgeous Swans neck regulator for fine adjustments, and the 56-hour power reserve, while it is manually wound, nevertheless gives you considerably more autonomy than the industry average. In the luxury watch sector, that's about 42 hours, 44 hours. So this watch is good to go if you want to leave it for 2 days. As long as you chop it off before you put it down, it'll still be ticking when you pick it up. It is a fantastic piece, and it helped to really redefine Panerai, because as much as collectors enjoyed those black watches like the PAM00292 of the late 90s, there was basically an understanding that they could never be everyday watches. They could never be pieces that you would subject to the slings and arrows of daily misfortune or the hazards of the New York City subway. With ceramic, suddenly you're good to go. You get the best of both worlds. Everyday durability with that super custom look of an all-black watch. And with the black hands, dial, bezel, case, and strap, this watch is remarkably cohesive. A fantastic piece, this Panerai Radiomir Black Seal Ceramica PAM00292 gives one final nod to history in its nomenclature, Black Seal. Now, of course, Panerai was a combat dive watch during the 30s, 40s, and 50s, used by Italian Navy Special Forces and Allied nations. The Black Seal is a specific reference to the frogmen of the Decimia Flottiglia MAS, basically the prototype of all modern amphibious tactical forces. And when they were operating underwater, they often used basically low-vis camo, black suits, black skin suits at night when they were operating in combat scenarios, often mounted on basically manned torpedoes. The Soloro Lanto Corsa, used famously in the December 1941 raid on Alexandria that disabled 2 British battleships, they were themselves known as Black Seals because of the way they operated amphibiously and the way they dressed in low-vis nighttime camo. So when you see that name Black Seal on a Panerai, that is the allusion that's being made to history, to special forces, to the heritage of the watches and the naval instruments built by Officine Panerai. So this watch really has it all. A fantastic blend of elements of past, present, and in the ceramic, a little bit of a view into the future. This Panerai Radiomir Black Seal Ceramica PAM00292 45mm in black ceramic is available with all original Panerai boxes, papers, documents of provenance. You can see it on our website in all of its noir glory. See this Radiomir Black Seal Ceramica PAM92 at Watch You Want.